Seamoth 1, ready for dive. Welcome to this Subnautica inspired multi-dimension coaster. This is a new project and we're gonna be working on this for the next few episodes. We're gonna be building a drop track as well as the Moonpool and a really awesome automated door and sections of the queue. We'll also be making a submersible, the Seamoth. If you want to see what I've got up my sleeve this time, stick around and let's dive in. Get it? Dive in? It's always weird to start a new project. You've got a massive green empty map and then you've got this thing in your head, what it's going to look like, this ID, and then you have to realize it by just starting to build out of nothing. That's the hardest part, I reckon. But I always start with the coaster station, which gives you an idea of where your coaster starts, and if you wanted to start on a height or start at ground floor. In this case, I wanted to start it up high because I'll be building a Moonpool. And if you've played the original Subnautica game, you know exactly what a Moonpool is. It's a underwater storage facility where you can store a little submarine called the Seamoth, which we'll be making later on as well. And I thought we'll be making a drop track, and because in the game you drop into the ocean from this Moonpool, so I thought it would be cool to have a drop track and simulate that effect from the original game. So yeah, chuck down some bathing. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna say this a lot again. This is what it looks like. Oh, that was so good. I'm first playing around a little bit with different types of colors for these rocks, because the color I'm giving them now is going to be the color for the rest of the underwater map, I think. Although I think I can change them halfway through. We'll see. For now, I'm having a little slight grey color. Here you see me working on the queue. I wanted the queue to be a combination of an underwater base as well as some entertainment, some animations. And I want to expose the people queuing up to the different types of creatures that live in the Subnautica world. And there's lots. Some big sea monsters and some cute cuddly pet fish. If you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So here, just placing down some items to give an idea of gonna build a base here, and this is just gonna be glass tubing. So yeah. In all reality, I actually have no idea what I'm doing. Here I'm redirecting the pathing for some reason. I don't even know why I did that. The only thing I was certain of is that the coaster station was going to be the Moonpool. And here I pull up a picture of the Moonpool, so you kind of have an idea of what I was trying to build. In the game, if you have your Seamoth, which is the little submersible, if you go up there and approach the Moonpool, a claw will grab you and pull you back into the Moonpool, where there is air and you can breathe. So it's an underwater base. But also, if you want to go back into the ocean and explore more, you jump into your Seamoth and then it will drop you back in, which I wanted to recreate using this drop track. So that's the reason why I built a drop track there. I wanted it to simulate the in-game properties of the Moonpool. Very nice. Obviously, there was no way I was not going to theme these multi-dimensional coaster cars. By the way, this is the first time I'm using a coaster I've never used before. In Planet Coaster 2, a multi-dimensional coaster can rotate left and right, from my understanding. But it also has drop tracks, shift tracks, and all sorts of cool, amazing stuff. So I'll be using all of that in this coaster as well, obviously. But yeah, here you see me theming it a little bit like a little submarine. In this case, I wanted to recreate a little bit of the Seamoth, which was really hard to make, but it looked really well. Very happy with the end result. Give you a little tour around. This is the side. You can see it's called Seamoth 1. Some tanks and a little jet there in the back to propel it forwards. A gas canister and some more safety equipment. Very nice. And this is what it looks like on the drop track. Tell my baby dummies, I love them. This is just me expanding a little bit of the Moonpool. Had to be a little bit higher because otherwise it was not going to be high enough. Such explanation. Then it was time to chuck on the roof. I'm using these flat pieces, but later on I found out that you also have these rounded pieces. So I spent this whole time building this flat roof. To then find out that there's these rounded pieces as well, which I'm using here. It rounds off the roof and the corners are not so sharp, and it fits way better with the original look of the Moonpool, as well as just the general vibe of the building. I didn't like the sharp corners, so this works out much better. Very happy with this. Sorry, that was just so satisfying. Then I started working on the bottom, the floor, I guess that's what you call it. Of course that's what you call it, what am I on about? The floor of the drop track. And I wanted it to be not too big because while you're on the coaster and you approach the drop track, I wanted you to see the water underneath. So I had to be wide enough to do that, as well as big enough to fit all the tools on that I wanted to fit on. And I wanted to make a little countdown board as well, so I had to have enough room. But this is what it looks like. Because I was going to use some animations to animate the water level, because I didn't want you to just sink through the water. You'll see what I mean later on. But because I was going to do that, I needed to make this a little secluded area, and thus I had to put rocks left and right, so that when you're in the queue you don't see all these ugly animation pieces. I had to bring the drop track down there to see how low it was going to be and where I needed to place more rocks. So it's just playing around a little bit and trying to find the rocks that work with the right size. And this is what it looks like. Then I really wanted to make an animated door that locks out the drop track area from the station. It would be really cool to have this fully animated, so I'm placing down the basic shape of the wall, and then I started working on the actual animated door. And then I got frustrated at myself because why do I always have to have these complex imaginations in my head? Like, I couldn't just use one animation piece, I had to use multiple, and obviously like time them properly, so the door stayed open for long enough for the car to pass through. It was very frustrating, but I wanted a gear to be involved, as you can see here, and also a hinge on each side, which kind of clips into the wall, as you can see here, like an actual lock mechanism, which is really cool. I was very happy with the way that it turned out. And then I had to obviously synchronize everything, use the synchronizer to have everything open and working in the right order. And this is the end result. Well, not really the end result, because there was still a lot of theming to do on this door. I didn't like the way that it looked. Then I found these automated doors. I was like, could have just used that. Damn it. Then it was time for pipes. Lots of pipes. Small pipes, medium pipes, large pipes, tiny pipes, all the pipes. Chuck them down, give them a color. It's nice. But Book, what about the underwater windows? Of course. You can't have an underwater base without underwater windows, right? And some support in the roof, otherwise the underwater base will just cave in from the pressure. So you gotta have some realism in the base, right? Such realism. And then to further decorate the inside, I placed down some lamps. And then I came in like a wrecking ball and destroyed the backside of the Moonpool. Amazing. This was just so I could have the coaster arrive there. Not sure if I want to do another like drop track, but then an upwards one to push it back into the Moonpool or something else. If you got a cool idea, let me know in the comments down below if you have a cool idea. But for now, I'm just having it open and it's definitely subject to change in the future. We'll see what I end up doing. I also placed down an oxygen machine because you gotta breathe inside, right? And then also a big ass tank, and I connected everything with pipes together so that it all works nice and it's a bit more realistic. This is the end result of the coaster station. Place down a couple more lights on the other side and put more piping down and bring it all the way up to the ceiling so that I could have a little unit on the top of the Moonpool, as you can see here. Just so that it's not too flat. You still have to theme the backside, but that's something to do in the next episode. For now, I'm very happy with the result. Very happy with the result. Oh. Oh. Why do I have such stupid childish humor? But Book, what about the inside? It's still so empty and ugly. My pool looks better than this. Okay, spend some time decorating the inside. After that, I placed some of these yellow fences on the top of the Moonpool. That's what it looks like in the game. I also put down some wavy patterns and wrote down the word Moonpool at the front. An underwater submersible storage facility. And then I put down one of these curved roofs on here. That just looks so much better. And then I placed down some coral as well. And I started working on the little queue underwater thingy. What do you call them? This thing. Underwater base for the queue to have these little like underwater scenes. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I then brought it all together with some more barnacles, because they're barnacles. Very nice. And some of this green moss. I just wanted to make it look like algae that have just accumulated on this little thing. Yeah, looks nice. I then worked more on the queue and expanded these underwater base pieces again to have these little underwater scenes. That's kind of the idea. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do a combination of underwater and above water scenes for the queue. But for now I'm just building this underwater base and then I can always adjust that later on. But for now, this is what it looks like. Then I did the same on the other section of the queue. I built a little underwater base here as well, as you can see here. Nothing fancy, so let's go on to the next thing. The next thing, however, is a bit more fancy, and I'm trying to recreate the Seamoth, which is a classic Subnautica submersible, a little underwater exploration submarine. And it looks a little bit like this, as you can see here. So I'm trying to recreate this. This is the actual photo of the Seamoth. So I'm trying to recreate that, and I'm playing around a little bit with these curved glass pieces, these archways, but I couldn't really get the look that I wanted, so I'll just skip forward this painful hour on recreating this. So this is what I ended up with after like half an hour of building, but I really wasn't happy with what it looked like, so I gave it a makeover. And now this looks so much more like the original Seamoth. I'm very happy with the end result, and I think this is gonna really do for a really good Seamoth, which I will animate and, you know, fly around and stuff. It even has a little cockpit. Look at that. Pretty cool, I have to say. Very nice. I then redid the exit pathing just to create a little bit more room in front of the Moonpool, so that I could have some coaster interaction there. And then the pathing that was covering this base piece, I just fixed it up. I really wanted to have some kind of countdown timer for when you're on the drop track, so that there's a timer in front of you that counts down from 3 to 1, and then on 1 you drop down and fall into the ocean, kind of thing. So I had to come up with a way to use to make a timer that counts down from 3 to 1, and I thought I came up with a pretty good idea using basic shapes and just 3 different layers. So you got the back layer, which is the black screen, then a basic shape, which you see me placing down now, is black, that blends in completely with the animated pieces. And then I just simply put a number behind it. And if you rotate it quarter-wise, like a quarter, like you see me doing here, you can reveal the number that is underneath the animation piece. So now I'm putting down a number there, as you can see here. And if you put this animated piece in front, you can increase it a little bit and hide the number. And then when you activate it, it flicks open and it reveals the number that's behind it, as you can see here. So yeah, that's kind of the way that I came up, and I think it worked out really well. The other thing I also really wanted to make is a water panel that's animated and kind of syncs with the drop track, so that when you arrive it looks like you're above sea level or above the water, and then you drop straight through the water underwater. But then obviously you can't go through the pieces. So I had this animated and I played around a little bit, and this is kind of the basic animation I came up with the first try. However, if you look here on the left and on the right, you can see the water panels not completely sunk into the terrain and coming up earlier than I wanted. And it was really hard to theme and to animate, I mean. So I came up with a different way. I simply used the horizontal pieces, which have a longer travel distance, and then used the fast pause setting, so it moves fast and then pauses. And then if you use the sequencer and you sequence it properly, all aligned, you can make the platform stay low for much longer, which gives the chance for the terrain to then drop, or the water to drop, and then stay below until the car leaves the dropping section, so that it then can come back up again. So this is what it looks like with the new technique. Here you can see the water down there. If you drive up, you still see the water at the bottom side. And now when you drop down, you don't fall down through the water panels, and the water panels stay low much longer. All this place really needed was some theming and some special effects of water, which you'll see me place down later on as well. Here I'm just spending some time on theming the diving section room, where the drop track is, and making it all look really nice, and giving the whole place a little bit more of a underwater base looky kind of thing, I guess. I hope that makes sense. Now let's look at what we made in a little bit more detail and give you guys a POV. Alright, we are here. After all that building, this is the end result of the first episode. As you can see, we made the really cool Moonpool. I obviously need some more theming on the back, but the general idea is there, and I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. It really does look like the Moonpool from the game. What the hell? Nice. Spontaneous combustion of cars. And we also made the Seamoth, which is also an in-game prop. Also really happy with how that turned out. And we even have a little cockpit, I guess, whatever you call it. Maybe I could put if there was animatronics, I would definitely put one inside, but obviously we don't have that yet. But there will come the majority of the stuff on the inside. I'm just so stoked with how that turned out. So we're gonna just walk down the queue. Obviously need to build an entrance sign. And as you can see, I've swapped the pathing from the start and I've brought it all the way back. So that they're now coming down here instead of winding down here. So this is now an open place, and I want my coaster to eventually have some interaction here or something. So that's gonna be very interesting. Maybe I'll just make it come around here and then just go over here or something like that. But yeah, very exciting so far. I think the rock work needs some more work. And underground, on the underwater stations, the grey stuff here needs to be more incorporated with the terrain, but that's all stuff that we can work out as we go. So I reckon we're just gonna walk down the queue, which will start here, and then we'll walk all the way to the entrance, and then I'll give you a POV of the coaster so far, which is pretty much the drop track is the main area, which you can see is on the left side of the Moonpool. Over here your Moonpool says underwater submersible storage facility. That's kind of, it's what it is for, because you store your in the game you store your Seamoth there, this little thing. But in this game it's going to be the station for the coaster train. So I'm just gonna close this down. There we go. Alright, let's walk down the queue. And I'll tell you a little bit about what my IDs are. So obviously there's going to be some cool entrance here that says Subnautica, Subnautic experience. I think that's what I'm going to call it, a Subnautic experience. Or Subnautica the ride, something like that. Not quite made up the name of the ride yet. So this is already looking really cool. I'm going to put all sorts of corals and rocks and the OG fish from the game. There's lots of fish in that game, and we're going to be creating some of them, if not most of them. And then we end up here, which is the little, like a little lookout. I'm gonna make all this look very natural, and then put some fish here, like a little fish home, and then maybe some sign saying this is what this fish is and this is what this fish is, all that sort of stuff. Obviously puts lots of pipe work here, some water tanks, all that sort of stuff. Same here. We'll have it make it look really nice and incorporated. Very exciting. Here is a little barnacle section, which is really cool. Can put some more stuff here, pipes and all that sort of stuff. And then here's a little section that opens up. Not finished yet, but for now we'll. This is what it looks like. I don't know if I'm going to extend this or if they make the thing come up all the way here, or if this is all going to be covered. I'm not sure yet. I think it might just be open, a combination of open and closed. I don't want you to have the full illusion that you are underwater yet, because that will need to happen when you're on the coaster. Then this is the queue, and then we end up here at the station. So this is what the station looks like. Very cool, very happy with it. It looks very aquatic, so to say. These pieces are incredible. I really like these tanks and these gas tanks and some of their storage. Obviously it needs a little bit more theming here on the side, but other than that it looks really cool, and this vault or this door looks really cool as well. It's all triggered. I need to work around this sequencer. Needs to be hidden still, but that's okay. And these are our vehiculars, our vehicles, which are little Seamoths. You got Seamoth 1, Seamoth 2 and Seamoth 3. But these are looking a little bit like the Seamoths. Obviously nothing like this is what the original Seamoth looks like. So it's a lot smaller and stuff. And this is what the ride vehicles look like. So really cool. I'm super happy. This little like step up thingy here. Super happy with how this turned out. And they're not obstructing the view or anything once you're in there. So yeah, let's jump on this thing. Just gonna pass the game, pop on in C2. I'm gonna unpause it and we're gonna just do the drop track, and then we'll talk about the section behind the door. So here we go. And that's the drop track. Let's have a look at this, because when you so you come through the door here, just through here, but when you look at this, the water just looks so cool, and it looks like you're really above sea level and you're like about to drop into the ocean, which is really cool because that's how it works in the game. A car's gonna come through so you can see the animation of the water and stuff. So this water level drops with you with the drop track, and then you have the little countdown board, so diving in 3, 2, 1, and then oh, here we go. Let's see. Look at this. And then I've got some water splashing up, so it looks like you're literally splashing in the water, and then it resets. So it looks really cool from here. It looks like it's really underwater, this section. And I've got some ambient speaker here that play an underwater sound, which is also really nice. Some theming, some tube, some red lights, because it's more like an important area, I think. And then you drop through here, and then you end up here underwater. It's just so cool. I'm so happy with how this turned out. Let's look at another coaster from this perspective. Here it comes. You can see the water drop with the car, and then it comes up with the track. Obviously you don't see any of this when you're in the coaster. The only thing that you see is you see the water drop from this angle, but that's why I secluded it. It's all hidden, so you don't see it. So when you go down here, it really looks like you're not forced to look here. You can look at here, for instance. You can probably see the water drop a little bit. I can show you as well. Let's get another car in. There we go. It's gonna drop, and you're gonna see the water level drop. There you go. And then this is the only thing I don't like. You see the water level quickly pop back up again, but I have no other way of animating it, so I'm gonna leave as is. But yeah, I'm super happy with this, the end result. And yeah, that was kind of it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. In the next video we're going to continue the coaster. I've got some incredible ideas on how to make this and incorporate these little submarines. We'll probably maybe animate them, like shooting around and you know, exploring. These are only 25 pieces, so I can put down heaps of these. And so far we have, how many pieces do we have? 695. So that's, oh, it really shoots out like that. It's cool. But yes, we've got so much room to build, and I'm so excited to continue on this. So thank you all so much for watching. If you love this and you want to see the further development of this ride, please consider subscribing and check out some other videos. For instance, the mousetrap projects. That was really cool and a lot of people liked it. Check out the mousetrap project. You can see it on my channel or in the top right corner here. And other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.